You know, I do have a draw, but it doesn't matter if it could come up anything, and it's not a huge bet either, but it's enough to get him off the hand. That's all we're looking to do is take it down the flop. I definitely don't want to get deep with that type of hand there. Ace 8's not good by any means. You know, ace trash hands are hard to tell where you're at in the hand. So yeah, it really didn't matter if I had ace 8. I might have done that with like an 8-7 or who knows. But the cards are really kind of irrelevant. I'm just gonna call and then bet out and show him that later on when the blinds get valuable, he's not going to be taking my big blind whenever he wants. It's not just up for grabs. And now I got IMs popping up here. Alright, moving on to the next hand. Alright, another ace rag in the big blind. Still a second blind level. He gets forward around. Biffin opts not to raise my blind this time. And Kevin goes ahead and he takes responsibility of trying to steal my blind. So same thing. I'm just flat calling here, and I'm going to bet 100% of the flops. So hopefully, if he has a hand that he would have given me action on pre-flop, he might miss the flop and fold now. You know, an ace jack, maybe even an ace king. You know, if he doesn't, you know, if he just doesn't want to risk anything right now this early. Obviously, he's going to call or even re-raise with an ace king pre-flop, but he's going to fold now if I bet out. But he probably doesn't have ace king. I don't put him on that strong of a hand. But there's a lot of hands, like maybe sixes. He's probably going to call my re-raise if it's not too big, but he might fold it now on this flop. So I bet out, and he folds. Eventually. Just thinking about it, so he might have some kind of decision, or he might just pretend to, might try to portray the image that he's raised with good hands, and it's a really tough fold for him. Either way. And I show the ace too. Again, just kind of having fun and showing him that if you go, well, my blind, you're going to have to play for it. I'm going to make plays at you and not just give it away. XA raises here in pretty early position, so I got to put him on a decent hand. He'll raise with a lot of hands and he gets folded around to in a late position, but for him to bump it up, you know, one off under the gun, he's probably got something. He's checking it down now, though, so I didn't check the hand history on this one. He might have an ace, but might be scared of the queens. And now it's hearts out there, so he's just checking it down, hoping that his ace is good. And he has to have an ace. It's the only hand I can put him on. If he has queens, he bets. You know, he turns the ace, and he figures it might be. He's hoping it's still good, and he just checks it down. So, okay, kings. Never mind. Pretty much same type of scenario. Kind of afraid of the queens there. But Kevin doesn't bet doesn't bet at all throughout the whole hand until he actually rivers his boat, and he bets out pretty small. Still, he extracts some chips there, which is really good. And you got to put XA on a semi-strong hand, something he's going to call whatever he bet, like a 150 on the river. So I would have made pretty much the same play. Extract some chips because you got to put him on something that he can call with and pay you off a little bit. But he's obviously not that strong, so you can't just dump it. I'm trying to catch some hands from other people, not just myself, you know. But I also don't want to sit here and talk about every single hand throughout the whole tournament. But here's a pretty decent-sized pot between Ozone and XA. I think Ozone doubles up here. He raises it pre-flop, and XA calls, and Ozone checks it down. So you know, what happened there is he flopped a big hand, top two pair. I think he should have bet. I would have bet because you know, I've been I'll continuation bet on a lot of flops, and so will Ozone. So if he wants to keep up that image, I would suspect him to bet. You know, he's short stack. He's not raising with trash probably. So if I'm XA, I gotta assume he hit that flop somehow, a little bit. And if he checks there, I think it's an obvious slow play because he's short. He's not gonna. He's not gonna raise a total trash most of the time, and he does continuation bet quite often. So for him to check there, I gotta put him on a hand. So he does slow play it. He flops top 2 pair, which I don't like with the flush and a straight draw out there. And then the king comes, and now he checks again on the turn because basically he's afraid that he got outdrawn. And then another terrible card comes, which is a spade. But XA has shown no strength. He's checked it down the whole way, so Ozone throws out what he feels is a value bet, really, just trying to extract a few chips. He thinks his ace jack is good, which I can't blame him for the river bet at all. I would have bet it too. XA hasn't shown that he's had a queen or a spade draw at all. So, all right, he wins a decent sized pot, and he's trying to get his head above water. Let's see if we can move on here. I don't think anything happens with this hand. Obviously, I fold. I'm not going to call with king 8. Alright, here's a rotation or two later. Still on the second level, 15-30. And I got aces. It's forward around to Ozone. And it's kind of a weird play by him, but he raises. Well, I put him on a hand because he's raising because he's short stacked. I obviously don't think that a short stack with somebody with 70 or 750 chips is raising too many hands that he doesn't want action on. But he is raised another short stack. He's going to fold a lot of hands too. He raises, and I kind of just decide to think about it, and I just dump it on him. I'm thinking about bumping it back on him a little bit, and then I just dump it. And the reason for that play is I definitely cannot flat call here. I cannot slow play the aces. I've got 3 people left in. They're getting great odds to call with whatever hand they got. You could jump in there for pretty cheap. And I don't want a 5-way pot with aces. So I do want to raise. The question is how much. I might be able to bump it like 100 or 200, 100, 150 more on him. But any hand that he's going to call or give me action on that raise, he's pretty much just going to go all in anyway. So what I do is, if I raise it on him, that screams a strong hand. If I just bump it 100, 150, 200 more, that screams a strong hand. I'm raising a little bit more against a short stack who we both know he's going to be committed if he calls. So that just screams, I want to get him in the pot. If I dump it here, it looks like, okay, I'm willing to go against him, but I really want to isolate everybody else. And I don't mind taking a shot with whatever semi-strong hand I have against a short stack. But I don't want these guys in. Or I'm just trying to pressure him to fold. Maybe like an ace-queen type of hand, an ace-king, 10s or jacks, a lot worse. But knowing me, I'm probably not going to risk my whole stack with too much worse this early on. So I'm really trying to disguise the strength of my hand. I don't want to just bump it back on him and, kind of give away that I have a good hand. Plus, if he's going to call that raise anyway, he's going to go ahead and call my all-in, and anyway. So let's just end it right now. I'll make it look like my hand's a little weaker than what it really is, because he definitely does not expect me to kind of sacrifice the value of aces by just donkey pushing here and betting everybody out. So I'm kind of hoping to induce a call by overbetting this pot, which later on, I guess it worked. He told me later on that he didn't believe there's no way that I had aces, or he didn't put me on aces at all, but he told me he only had like a 4 or 5 or some kind of weak hand, which I don't agree with him raising there, even though it's in late position and forward around to him. He's pretty short. I don't really agree raising with that type of hand, but there's a lot of styles that work out there, and maybe that's a great play. It's live, it's relative, so who knows? I don't know if Kevin's asking, is he asking that if I'm being loose aggressive, or, I guess I am with pocket aces. That's the kind of image that I'm portraying. That's good.